Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart, so check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary, terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
As you guys probably know, we have Greg Joseph on a roster now. He showed up a couple days ago, and we have him and Jude competing for that kicker spot. It's going to be good competition. Obviously, what Greg brings to the table is a veteran guy that's kicked in multiple stadiums, that has had a good percentage throughout his career. And Jude has shown a very promising preseason and has obviously done a good job in the offseason and training camp and all his opportunities in practice. So we'll have a better idea who becomes our kicker on Sunday as we get closer to that day.
Going back to last Sunday, what did you see from Graham in warm-ups?
We had ultimate confidence in him to be able to kick kicks, and he did a good job. He had a 58-yarder in pregame, and he looked good.
So no alarm bells were issued, and he had to cut his workout to go back in?
He had confidence in himself to be able to connect on kicks. We had confidence in him as well in pregame. It was status quo.
Did he tweak anything in warm-ups?
Again, he kicked everything that we needed him to do in pregame. And he did a good job in that. He had confidence to start the game. We had confidence in him, and he was excited to go out there.
Obviously, the worst-case scenario unfolded, but just knowing he came in with the low body, any thought to having Jamie handle kickoffs so Graham wouldn't be in that situation?
It doesn't matter what position it is. You're always trying to create flex at all these positions. So these are all contingency plans you have throughout the week. And it doesn't necessarily matter whether you're a kicker, a punter, the starting R5 on kickoff, the left center on KOR. You're always training the next man up because obviously with a limited roster, you have to try and create some flex.
There's situations where you guys are not kicking extra points or not kicking a field goal at the end. Are you consulted or are you giving your opinion on what you should be doing there, or is that just head coach's call and you deploy what he says?
So throughout the game and throughout practice during the week and throughout all meetings, we always have continuous discussions that are always fluid, and we're always trying to do our best job to make sure we're trying to win the game.
I know we have a situation now where a kicker gets hurt on kickoff, or, regardless of what he may or may not have had coming in. I think back in the spring, you had talked about the idea of that it had been floated out there with the dynamic kickoff, the idea of it kind of puts your kicker at a disadvantage when everybody is up front, that last line of defense. Does something like this almost magnify it, you think, across the league? Maybe teams look at who is kicking off, or is it just one of those isolated incidents that you guys have?
Whenever there's an injury, it's always going to be magnified. The nature of it is there was a holding penalty on it. You still want multiple hitters on the ball carrier, and at the end of the day, there's it's a skill set that not many people have to be able to kick off. So again, you have contingency plans to make certain that certain guys can do it, and you're working that throughout off season and during the regular season and everything.
Before you were here, Jay McGillen hit a 40-yard field goal last year, so he obviously can kick. Did he look that uncomfortable to you on the PAT that he missed?
We had ultimate and I still do. We always have confidence in Jamie. Again, the creating flex happens at every position, and you're working those situations regardless of where it's at. With that being said, we've definitely put the tape to bed, and we're excited to go against Cleveland. I truly believe Bubba does a great job in terms of getting his units ready. He's been one of the best coordinators in terms of getting his players to play hard. He has good scheme. He has really good players. You have a guy like Myles Garrett on field goal block that is certainly featured. He has ability to jump inside, to rush edges, to hit different creases, and you can see how they're utilizing him. JOK is another guy that they feature, and he does a really good job. So we're really excited for the challenge this week.
A little bit of a minutia question, but how come Evan Neal isn't on your place kicking team. It seems like Azudu is, but Evan Neal is not. And I would think any snap he gets blocking would be helpful for him developmental.
You know, again, like we train multiple players at different positions. Evan is certainly a guy that can play all those positions, but certainly so is Azudu. So we're going to put out, what we feel is going to give us the best chance to be able to connect on these kicks with our best 11.
On the opening kickoff, what do you think broke down on the coverage?
So again, I know I've answered a bunch of questions with that, and I know Dave has kind of hit it. So the biggest thing to me is we're on to Cleveland. We obviously want to correct it on tape, and we've corrected everything we need to. So we're going to move forward. And obviously focus on being able to stop Cleveland.
Just getting back to where you started, Greg is not guaranteed he'll be kicking on Sunday?
So it's going to be good competition between him and Jude.
What does Jude need to show you that he didn't show you maybe last week to elevate and bring up?
I think at the end of the day, you always want to have multiple specialists on your roster. And for the reason of having good competition throughout camp, I think it doesn't matter. It's no different than a P squad player at a DB position or a P squad player at a linebacker position. You always want those guys to have the ability to compete, to raise that level. Jude, again, have ultimate confidence in him and his ability to go out there and have success. And then the same thing with Greg. The thing that Greg has is obviously the experience of kicking in games and obviously the good production with that. And then Jude, like I said, had a very promising preseason, so it's not necessarily a lack of what he still needs to prove or still needs to show. We're going to take it down the wire and figure out who gives us the best chance to win in Cleveland.
You didn't get to see Amir in the game, obviously, but last week, what did he show you getting here, and then the idea of, how confident are you still in him as a punt returner?
Yeah, no, and honestly, being here for him being here for a little bit over a week now, you're excited for him to get those opportunities. The thing I love about him is he's not going to necessarily, he's a great teammate, and you could feel that already. And when he gets his opportunities, he's going to be excited to take advantage of that. So the person has definitely checked all the boxes. The player has checked all the boxes. He approaches the game the right way. In practice, he's always asking questions on exactly, where we want things to unfold. And, obviously, we're excited for him when he gets his opportunity to go out there and have success.
Was Patrick Johnson signed to help fill the gap or the void left by Carter Coughlin not being there on kick return? And what do you need from that spot that Taman was in?
I don't necessarily get into the roster acquisitions on why they happen. I could say this about Pat, though. He has played a lot of football in this league, and primarily on special teams. And when you watch his tape in Philly, you see a guy that plays the game the right way. He plays with his hair on fire, and that's pretty cool to see. When you get a guy on your roster, obviously during the season, and then you see a guy that has physical traits, that isn't afraid to put hands on people when they're disengaging off blocks. And then, the experience of having over 350-plus snaps last year on teams, he's been in those situations that, make it a little bit easier for him to basically acquire the knowledge it takes to have success in a quicker manner.
Went into the decision to have Taman Fox in that spot last week?
Taman is a guy that, he's a chess piece. he has shown with limited reps to be able to go into multiple different spots on our special teams units and be able to have success. So his intelligence, his physical traits that he has as an outside backer, those things, whenever there's an opportunity to, get a guy up to help us, Taman certainly is a guy that comes to mind just because of his ability to play in multiple different roles without many reps.
Obviously, Jamie's like the emergency place kicker, kickoff guy. Does he practice that during the week, or is that just on game day if you need him, you just got to go switch over to that?
Again, with any position, you're always practicing it, and that's a weekly thing to me. You're practicing the flex of your starting gunner. You're practicing the flex of your snapper, your punter, your kicker, your holder. Those things always have to be a constant, obviously with situations that arose. So, the biggest thing we'll continue to hammer down on making sure that, our guys are ready, and if their opportunity comes about, we have to have the ultimate success in them to have success.
Is Greg Joseph's experience kicking for a season in Cleveland important to you? Is that stadium different for a kicker?
Yeah, obviously with it being a weathered stadium, I think the experience is always very helpful. And, his knowledge of different stadiums and how the win plays in each of them is really, really cool. So you get to I started talking to him a little bit more about it, and you understand kind of the way his mind works, depending on which way we're kicking, what are the tendencies of that. So that experience certainly, helps.
Is Smith-Marset not an option as a kick returner?
Certainly, he has a skill set to do both. Ultimately, I think Eric Ray has done a great job back there, and so has Tracy. So not to say that Amir doesn't have a skill set to do it. He potentially could get an opportunity. I think we have at least 3 really good ones that have the ability to take it all the way.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary, terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.